Hello friends, and welcome back to another long play format video. The video where we have a more informal conversation and a dialogue down in the comments about what's going on in Virginia. Today we're going to focus on something very important. What do we do now that lobby day is over? The fight's not over, but what do we do about it? We're going to get into that in just a second. Check it out over here on the Virginia Second Amendment news page. A couple of great photos from lobby day. We've even got the most recent video, but up here there's a support tab too. So if you find it on YouTube, or if you find it over here, you can donate to the cause at PayPal if you like to. But the easiest way to help me out is just to like this video, watch it all the way through, and share it with your friends. Okay, now that that's over, let's get started. The question that got this video going today actually was more of a statement. And it was a statement made on the Va2A News Lobby Day, the Capitol Hill coverage that I provided, where I was giving you guys an on-the-ground look. And I really like that video. It's got a lot of watch time. People enjoy it. It's been very engaging. However, Boogaloo 2, he has a really great statement here, and I thought it required a little bit of discussion. Northam says that his teams de-escalated the situation. That's BS. He thinks that he's the king, and he'll pass the bills, and it doesn't matter if there are 1 million people there. You're not a free people to him. You're subjects, and he's getting paid handsomely to do so by Bloomberg and Doomberg. Voting will not help. It's here, patriots. Like it or not, it's here, and I'm guessing you know what I mean. The tree is thirsty. We're going to get into that comment here in just a minute. Let me give you the updates of what's going on today first. We're going to talk a little bit about the Virginia Mercury, their reporting of a holiday that was taken away from us recently and replaced with another holiday, as well as how I find some information and some updates on the legislative information. We're also going to go over Keep VA2A and the CA2AC3 command and control website. These are going to be important tools for replying to the statement that Boogaloo 2 is talking about. All right, friends, the first article today is from Law Enforcement Today. The title is The Virginia Governor Starts Labeling Veterans Domestic Terror Threat Ahead of 2A Rally. Part of that militia threat that the governor was talking about in Executive Order 49 on 2020 happened to be with militias saying they were going to come and participate from out of state in Virginia's 2A rally. Now, it wasn't even a rally like they're talking about here. It's a lobby day. The only rally time was when the VCDL took the steps of the Capitol in order to talk about the issues. Those are permitted events. Everything else was a lobby. And there were groups. There was easily 30,000 people there. Okay, don't let the mainstream media fool you. And the governor was concerned about serious threats from outside militia sources. That's crap. Okay. There's no threat from American citizens that want their rights protected and upheld unless you're not upholding their rights. You see what I mean? We actually saw that people were completely peaceful and happy, and all from all kinds, shapes, creeds, colors, religions, beliefs, orientations. There were all kinds of people there that did not want their rights taken away. And that's because America is not this divided country that the media tries to make it out to be. And one way they try to divide us is by taking our heroes that fight to keep us free and labeling them terror threats, like this. It didn't just start there, though. Our veterans have been labeled as extremist groups or possible extremists for a long time. Here we go, 2009, from the Wall Street Journal. Veterans are a focus of FBI extremist probe. And I'll just read the first text. The FBI, earlier this year, launched a nationwide operation targeting white supremacists and militia and sovereign citizen extremist groups, including a focus on veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan, according to memos sent from the Bureau headquarters to field offices. This is nothing new, and it goes back even before there. The minute that you have patriots that are trained, that you send to fight overseas, that come home and see the same type of oppressions beginning to be activated here in this country as they were fighting against overseas, it kind of makes people upset. I guess you could say that the government knows it. So why would you label us as extremists? Well, it has something to do like this article from the Virginia Mercury. Our history is being rewritten. The Virginia Senate votes to scrap Lee Jackson Day and make Election Day a state holiday. Okay, great. It used to be Lee Jackson King Day, right? And then Virginia separated it into Martin Luther King Day and then Lee Jackson Day. These are two Confederate generals that fought for the Confederacy for Virginia. We're Virginians. But the state legislature, the Democrats, want to take this away from us. They've been scrapping, there have been movements to take down Civil War monuments and erase our history across the nation and here in Virginia. And this is ridiculous. This is just another part of dehumanizing who we are. They're taking away what unifies us. America fought a war against itself to correct a wrong. There were other things going on. There's many people that can debate the Civil War up and down. But one thing that makes America great, and one thing that's not taught anymore, is the fact that we are a redeeming nation. We redeem ourselves. We self-correct. That's what we do. Which is exactly why when we went over there to the Capitol for Lobby Day, there was no problem. You see, Americans weren't going to fight Americans over our rights. You can have as many different beliefs as you want. You need one to be an American, and that's the belief in the Constitution and the recognition that the Constitution recognizes the rights God gives us. It doesn't give us any rights. It restricts the government from taking away the rights that God already gave us. So if you're gay, black, Hispanic, none of those things matter. What matters is one core belief, and that is the belief in the Constitution and the willingness to step up to the line and defend it. And if you're wondering about this, it was voted on in the Senate. And check that out. There are 19 Republicans in the Senate of Virginia, and there are 21 Democrats. But we've got 22 that voted to pass this bill on the Senate floor. So which Republican jumped ship? That's a slimy little thing to do. I went ahead and found out for you. It's this one. Republican, our Senator Davenant. I can't even say her first name. Sorry. Put a pronunciation up there. You're so politically correct, right? Why don't we have a pronunciation up there? I'm sure you'll think twice about that, won't you? She voted to take away our history. She needs to have some emails written to her, emails condemning what she did. She needs to hear it from us. All right, enough with that. The Virginia governor claims a peaceful pro-gun protest was de-escalated by his team. No, it wasn't. It was never a problem for Virginians to come together and Americans from all across the nation to protect our rights. That was not the problem, Governor Northam. The problem is the gun legislation that the Democratic House and Senate have put through since the election. We don't want this. It hasn't been wanted, and here you are shoving it down our throats. It's a funny thing. How come there weren't any Democrats up there on stage on the Capitol steps with the Republicans? Why weren't they working? Were they all hiding in a panic room because you said there was going to be a state emergency? So they decided not to show up so they didn't have to face the people, so they didn't have to talk? I think that we've got a problem there. Let's move over here. Virginia Democrats trying to prevent political backlash over gun proposals. Now this is one from the Washington Examiner. This is a really great report right here. This article is all about the Democrats that are going to push through the legislation they wish to push through to a deaf ear of their constituents. The fact is that, you can have as many VCDL and outside gun groups from other states coming here as you want, but over 1.9 million voted solidly for Democrats to lead the Senate, lead the House, and be in the governor's mansion. That was a quote from Democrat delegate Alfonso Lopez. Really? We voted for that because I didn't vote for that. The people all around Virginia that have rallied their city councils to declare themselves sanctuary cities and constitutional cities, they didn't vote for it, and that map is bright green, like 98% of all of Virginia. There was a counterpoint to that by Republican delegate Nick Rush, and he told the Examiner that the push on gun control measures energized a lot of folks that haven't been out and didn't traditionally come out and to vote. And he's sure that rural Virginians who believe in the Second Amendment are going to be out in force in 2020. And then, our job is to make sure that they stay engaged in 2021. And that's the point. Delegate Rush is telling us we have to keep this fight up. But what is the fight? We've got a long road ahead of us. This isn't over just because Lobby Day took place. And bullets aren't flying in the street. I've said it a bunch of times. But now more than ever, we need to take more political action. We can't go home and hang our drop leg holster on the wall and think we did a good job. Got out there, we had a rally day. The Democrats didn't show up. They're still in control. They got the votes. And there's lots that are on the table for tomorrow. 13 or 14 bills are in subcommittees in the House to be voted on. It's a lot of stuff going on tomorrow. Those are likely to be passed. And that's where Keep Va2A comes into play, as well as the 2AC3.com, the Second Amendment command and control. I'm over here right now on Virginia, and you can see all of the different counties that have been posted. I'm just going to come down here to Virginia Beach because that's where I am. I want to see what's up here. Oh, we got a post a day ago by Rob Sway. Hey, listen, if you're in Virginia Beach, the group needs a local coordinator. Okay, this is where we make political action happen. The 2AC3.com allows us to step up and coordinate a little bit more directly. Now, it's important to note, you cannot be up here talking about the formation of militias and things like that. That would be a problem, okay? Remember, the unorganized militia of Virginia is made up of the body of the people. It's unorganized for a reason. It only ever organizes, which means comes together in formation, when there's a purpose. There is no purpose to organize here. Also, Senate Bill 64 will make things like that illegal, so be careful. Here, when this is used, it needs to be used as a way of getting information out, coordinating with others, coordinating for lobbying your local officials and your state officials, and staying in touch. That's what it needs to be used for. So, if you choose to step up to this, which is a really great thing to do, make sure that you've got the right mindset about what you're trying to accomplish. If you're someone that does a lot of big talking behind the keyboard, you're not the person that needs to be here. Because the person that needs to be here has to be able to navigate the type of communication that would not endanger themselves or Rob or anybody else on this group by calling for some kind of violence. That's not what this is for. So, keep your comments on point, keep your coordination direct to what it is that you're doing, and let's get some groups moving on here. Let's look around. Now, this is great for the entire United States. Every city, every county, every town in the United States, in every state of the United States is represented here. And if it's not, you can email Rob or create your own thread. In fact, at the very beginning, the home post tells you exactly how to go ahead and do all that. Now, we've talked about all those things. I hope that the overall point that we've recognized is that Democrats and our governor, Ralph Northam, are claiming a win for themselves on Lobby Day. They're also saying that, hey, it's all good. We're not doing anything else. We're not changing any of the way that we're acting. In fact, up here, despite throngs of gun rights protesters that swarmed city council meetings demanding that the counties be declared as Second Amendment sanctuaries, and those attending Lobby Day in Richmond on Monday for the annual gun rights rally hosted by the VCDL, Democrats in the Commonwealth are undeterred. They didn't care. They're not listening. They're calling it a win, and they're moving along to push down gun legislation that we don't want. So what do? We come over here and we begin to put together our movement of lobbying. We do that and we coordinate with one another. I think that makes good sense. Let's talk about some bills. Hey, listen, there's thousands, literally thousands of bills in the House and the Senate right now. It's hard to keep track of them all. The easiest thing to do is to come over here and check out lis.virginia.gov. Go to your failed bills. If you want to see what's happened and what's failed, they got 2 pages of this so far. Just type in firearms like I did, and you'll see what's failed. It'll make it easy to find them. We got House Bill 192, the proof of purchase and demonstrating competence with a firearm. That was pulled. There's a few other ones that were pulled, and it'll tell you why they were pulled. Okay? But that's not it. There's something else we can do. Come over here to Bills and Resolutions. We come down here to most frequently asked for or searched. This will give you a list of everything that's most frequently searched. If you come up here at the top on SB 16, this was pulled and stricken by Dick Sasloff, so it's gone. It's over there in the failed bills as well. But that doesn't tell us the whole story. What you really have to do to find out what's actually happening is go over here to passed by the House and passed by the Senate. Now, the House bills and the Senate bills are what you're looking for, and they're going to be in alphabetical order. So right now we're under House bills. House joint resolutions and Senate joint resolutions, HJs and SJs, will be shared in both sides of our government, okay? So don't worry about them. I mean, read them if you'd like to, but you're looking for bills. So we're in the House, and they've only got 6 bills so far that they've passed, okay? And you can see who's passed what. None of these have to do with firearms. It's probably a good idea to give them a look through, but it's not the topic of this conversation. Come back over here to passed by the Senate. Boy, oh boy, we talked about it again, but I'm sharing it with you again so you'll know how to find it. You need to find the information. You got to be smarter than them. You got to know where to look, okay? Interestingly enough, as a side note, while I was on Capitol Hill yesterday, I heard a lot of great information that is outdated and even some strict disinformation from very passionate people supporting Second Amendment gun rights. I even tried to talk with them about it, and it wasn't until I was able to pull this up to show them that what they held firmly as a belief in their head, specifically one was about Senate Bill 16, that it was pulled. They didn't believe it. I tried to tell them it was incorporated into 961. 961 was another thing, but Senate Bill 16 still lived on. Now, what do you do in that situation, right? You got to go to the source and show them. People hold their own opinions in very high regard, especially when coming from someone new. You got to have facts, and we've got to be able to listen to each other. Facts over feelings. Don't be a Democrat, okay? So anyways, you come over here and that's fine. You can find all your stuff there. What I'd like to talk to you about is an easier way to do that. I'm not sponsored by the VCDL. I am a member. I don't agree with everything that the VCDL puts out. I'll talk about that a little bit here. But the team is an excellent team, and you know that I do like them and support their work. If you want to know about the laws and you don't have to go through everything I just went through, sign up for the VA alert. You can do it on the VCDL website. They got 27,000 members that are already signed up. You're going to get an email daily or every other day or even twice or 3 times a day when things are happening that need your attention, like the executive order banning guns. That was important. And you're not going to send it to you. So you're going to have that information. And it looks like this, okay? It's going to tell you the topics up top, and it's going to tell you what's going on with each of them. Okay, and so check this out. Tomorrow, January 22nd, from 1:30 to 2 o'clock, the Senate Judiciary Committee will meet in Senate Room A to vote on a large group of gun bills, both pro-gun and anti-gun. Hey, they need to flood the room with people. Now, obviously, every day can't be a lobby day, but if you can make it, hop, hop, Froggy, right? Let's get on to it. I'd be there if I lived in Richmond. I can't make a 2.5-hour drive or 2-hour drive every day, but I'd be there. So if you guys are in Richmond and someone gets some video footage that they want to send to me as part of my Minuteman report that I'm putting together, go ahead and PM me right now and let me know that you've got it, and I'll give you some credit and a shout out, and I'll use that for a video. But the Minuteman reporters is something I'm coming out with later, and I'll talk to you about that once that's all up and done. The bills in red are, of course, the ones that they are opposed to. The bills in blue are the ones that they agree with, and it basically gives just a real quick discussion. My problem with this is, hey man, if you are someone that is in possession of a firearm and happen to be committing a crime, although I don't want you to be in that situation, but sometimes crimes of circumstance happen, why do we need additional bills to be approved to charge you with additional crimes like add-on crimes? It's like when a police officer stops you because you took a right turn without slowing down, you did that California roll, and then they hit you for your inspection sticker and a tail light or a seat belt, these secondary charges. The VCDL, you guys should not be okay with secondary charges. They don't do anything to help stop crime, and they only hurt someone that could be a law-abiding citizen if they are ever in this position. Now, some of these are bills that have to do with using firearms during the commission of a violent felony. And you might say, that's got to be okay. It's already against the law to use a firearm to commit a crime. These create additional mandatory minimums. I got to tell you guys, it sounds a lot like the Clinton era 3 strikes program. Extra mandatory minimums, send more people to jail for longer terms, don't focus on reintegration to society. This is a social issue that's bigger than the gun rights conversation. I'm going to leave it at that. What I am saying is, aren't there enough laws on the books to put people in jail that we don't need additional laws to get people add-on crimes so they can stay in jail longer? Come on. So I don't agree with that kind of stuff. But I do agree with this email. The VA alert's great. Go sign up for it. Okay, we're going to follow up with just a couple things. Senate Bill SB1, the driver's license suspension for non-payment of court fines and costs. That's up there. They're removing that requirement of paying those fines if your driver's license is suspended for things like insurance violations or fines and fees not paid to the DMV, or the reinstatement fee. This is a great thing. If anybody's ever been in that position, I saw this and I thought, wow, that can help out a lot of people. This is also a bill that disproportionately affects people that don't have the extra money to pay these types of fines and fees, that really shouldn't have to pay these types of fines and fees, because when you can't drive, you can't work. Okay, it's very difficult. So good on you there. Moving on along, I just want to remind you, SB 35, go ahead and pause and read it, has been passed in the Senate, as well as SB 70. That's been passed in the Senate as well. So these bills are still in the queue for moving forward to go to the House for a vote as well. We're going to have several more added to these bills come tomorrow because there are lots of things being voted on in the Judiciary Committee. And once it comes out of the committee, it'll go back to the floor and will be up for a vote. So bills are moving on along despite a great rally day. And how do you feel about that? I don't know what to tell you. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed the conversation today. Our topics had a little bit more meat on them to think about. I'd really like to hear your comments down below and let me know what you think the next steps are. I'm Robert Ham from Virginia Second Amendment News. I'm reporting on your rights. Thank you for watching.